Joe Betancourt is the president and CEO of a real estate company in Chicago called Betancourt Realty. Established in 1996, Betancourt Realty has maintained an outstanding record of success in the real estate industry. Joe brings a unique understanding of the culturally diverse neighborhoods that make up Chicago. Through strong leadership, teamwork, and an innovative entrepreneurial spirit, he has built a reputation to be known as one of the top real estate companies here. Joe has also been a developer for the past 16 years, constructing homes, 60 to 110 unit buildings throughout the city. Outside of real estate, his passion is giving back to the community. In addition, Joe has two beautiful children, Josh and Chloe, which you will see pictures of on that screen periodically. In April, Joe felt he no longer could keep his trans identity a wholly private matter and came out as a transgender man in an interview with Windy City Times. Tonight, I want to go back and introduce you to Joe and introduce Joe to new friends and give them the opportunity and give us the opportunity to get to know Joe a little bit more. Welcome, Joe. Thank you. This is your water, Joe. And Eric on mine has a little gift for you. Where am I, Eric? Anyway, all right, so when asked, is there anything you want to say before we get into this?
Thank you very much for inviting me here. It's lovely to be within our community. I wish you the best with what you do and this event that you go, because honestly, we should be televised. It's a great thing, and more people should know about it.
Yeah, I paid Joe to say that. So we're working on that deal right now. This is in pilot. All right, so when asked, thank you, Joe. When asked to describe your parents growing up, you said of your mom that she was really quiet, loving, generous, and a shy person. Because of her shyness, you were often asked to go up and talk to people you didn't know as a young person, as a child, as a kid. And you, of your dad, you said that he was a businessman. That he did the illegal lottery here in Chicago, that he actually, underground lottery, he actually, and he was so good at it that he was sent from New York to Chicago to kind of do that quote unquote work. Right? And, okay, good. Exactly. This is watching him figure out these numbers, you got exposed to the aspects of getting money, and these qualities and experiences, I think at least personally, that have influenced kind of your determination and savvy to move from survival to complete independence. So congratulations on that. So I want to say that you described your parents as good parents. You said that, and I quote, this is your quote, when you're a gay or trans person, you already know in your soul what you're destined to be. What does that mean to you?
Well, when I was 4 years old, I had my first crush with my babysitter, and I knew that I love women, and I love playing with boy toys, and everything I did, my identity was as a boy. So I knew as a child that that's who I am. And I feel that many people who are trans, that's what happened. We develop, it's part of you. It's not something you just one day wake up and say, in a certain way.
And you were like shading at like 3 years old. Like,
yeah, at about 4 years old is when I remember, and they caught me shaving with my dad's shave.
And then you also had, you didn't just have a crush on your babysitter, you would like dream of your babysitter. Like you remember, you have these memories of being 4 years old and like dreaming of your babysitter.
Right.
are you asking me that? Where are we going? Yes, VivesQ after dark. Anyway. So you grew up in Wrigleyville, in Lakeview, and it was a predominantly Puerto Rican neighborhood back in the day. For people who don't know, Wrigleyville was, before people moved or had to move, and it was a Puerto Rican place. At 13 years old, you fell in love again, not with your babysitter, with a girl, and decided to bring her home. At that time, your parents were separated. Can you tell us a little bit about what that experience was like, bringing your girlfriend home? Who was this person?
Well, I thought I could just come right into the home and just tell my mom, hey mom, by the way, this is my girlfriend, I want you to meet her. And it didn't work out that way. My uncle was present, and he was very upset about it, and he said she has to leave the house, and I got into an argument with him, and I said, if she leaves, I leave. And he said, no, you're not leaving. I said, yes, I am leaving. And that's when I took off at that age.
So you left home at 13.
Right.
And the way that you explained it was because I asked, like, how did that happen? Because both of your parents were here in Chicago. They were both separated. Right. But your dad, you told your dad that you were with your mom, and you told your mom that you were with your dad.
Yeah, I played a good trick there, and it worked for quite some time. My dad was moving to Puerto Rico, so I told him I was going to stay with my mother, and my mother had remarried, and she was moving to Mexico. So each one thought I was moving with the other one, but I was moving on my own.
And on your own at 13 is essentially sort of homelessness. Like you went from...
Yeah, we hit the streets.
Right. So, can you share a little bit about that?
Sure. We went to my girlfriend's mother's house, and we tried the same thing. Hey, this is Joe, this is my boyfriend, and she kind of had the same reaction and told her the same thing. That I had to leave and only she can stay in the house. So that's when we both decided to hit the streets at 13 and just try to survive. And I remember it clearly because I remember it was winter, and we couldn't stay. We asked her, can we stay here at least over the night because it's snowing? She said no. We slept in the car that night. But that's where the homeless started.
And then you move from, if eventually your dad comes looking for you. Like you spend some time basically trying to survive independently. And your dad comes looking for you, and you end up seeing him outside of this building.
Right, that was about 2 years later. In order for me to survive, I had to eat it. I don't know if you guys remember back then, it was Rustler Steakhouses, where people would eat their plates of food. Well, as a kid, you can just come in, have a seat, and have to eat some of their food in order to survive. And we worked at daily pay factories where you make like $14 for the day, and you were able to get phony IDs back then. It was much easier than it is today, and that's what we did for the next 2 years. We lived at SRO by Wilson and Broadway, and then one day the windows were open, and I heard this voice, and I thought to myself, wow, that really sounds like my dad. This is like 2 years later. So now I'm like 15 and a half or so, and I looked out the window, and sure enough, it was him walking into the building.
And he's walking into the building. Your girlfriend at the time says, Joe's not here.
Right.
Bye.
I went up to the roof that night.
Yeah, and then they leave, right? And then you come back down and you're like, what happened? Who are they?
Right.
At? You were right.
Yeah,
and
sweaty bullets.
And then you hear a knock on the door. And then it's your dad again, so then you run into the closet, no pun intended.
Yeah, I literally ran into the closet.
So at that point, because I asked you, how did you get this apartment? Because you ended up getting an apartment at that age.
Right.
And a 13-year-old can't get an apartment now, at least not that I'm aware of. and it would be difficult to get an apartment independently. So you eventually, your dad said, I'm glad that you're okay. You know, I want to make sure that you have somewhere to stay. You can stay in the apartment that I'm staying in now. Move to Puerto Rico. You basically then inherit, quote unquote, this apartment where someone thinks that your dad owns that apartment and you're paying the rent on it. So
that was at 15.
And then at 17, you know, during this time, you're also like connected to possibly like some gang activity. You got drafted into like a gang, essentially, because you're a young person. Like many young people, they are vulnerable, and so you're kind of in the scene. But it was also like a turning moment for you to see the activity that was going on, and you were like, I don't want to be a part of this. Can you share that?
Well, you know, I was witnessing that a lot of my friends were getting killed. And at first, you know, I got drafted because my brother was in the gang, and when they found out that was my brother, they automatically said, okay, you're part of us. I wasn't aware what gangs really were. So I started hanging out. It was a lot of fun. Good friends, but it was getting in trouble all the time, and then I started to witness certain things that I said, this is not for me. And people were getting killed, and it was very sad. And just looking at that, knowing that it became a routine for many folks, that's not what I wanted.
And you got your GED. You went back to get your GED at that age. You essentially focused on working, and you went from washing dishes to a busboy. Can you just talk about that kind of?
Yeah. So I started working as a dishwasher, and I was like 13, 14. And then I went up, I moved up to a busboy and managing in restaurants. Because my thought is, whatever you do in life, work-wise, always do the best you can, no matter what it is. You know, whether you clean toilets, clean it the best you can. Whatever you do in life, you should always succeed and do the best you can, no matter what that is.
I just want you to know that that was one of the most things that really stuck out from me from our conversation was just what you said right now. If you're going to wash toilets, if you're going to be a dishwasher, then you be the best person that you can be doing that role. You just never know. Like you essentially moved up from those roles into obviously owning buildings and going into real estate. And so I bring up this sort of like kind of past, if you will, quote unquote, to kind of put things into context, because I do think that if we just talk about where you are now in life, it's easy for people to make assumptions about who Joe is without knowing kind of like where you come from. So I want to talk a little bit about this, your coming out a little bit in terms of Windy City Times, because there were opportunities for you to come out in the past. You're not new to community. You've done things for the community. You've been involved in the LGBT community, just not as visible in that regard. So I don't want to characterize it in a way that like you're new to the community. Because you're sort of in behind the scenes doing that work along other people and supporting other people and being an ally to maybe the gay lesbian community without people knowing that that this was your part of your story.
Right.
So one of the things that I want to bring up is so you have 2 children and you were married at one point. And you were getting divorced. And that comes up because it was also an opportunity, quote unquote, to come out. This was like 3 years ago. Can you talk a little bit about what that looked like in the legal aspect?
Well, it's probably one of the saddest times of my life. It was a custody battle for my children. And anyone that does decide to have children, always make sure that you do everything legally, get adoption papers and so forth. Because the person you're with, you love them at that time, and you both love each other, but you never know what's going to happen in the future. So you should always do that to protect yourself. But yeah, we had a custody battle, and her being an attorney was a real difficult situation. But thanks to Lambda Legal, which was Camilla Taylor, and Equality Illinois, who advised me not to go public. The attorneys I had at the time, which were straight attorneys, they advised me to go public, go to the media, and start to, say how this woman is attacking me, and I'm transgender, and it's not right, and she's violating my rights, and so forth. And Lambda Legal advised me not to do it. She said, Joe, in our community, we come out when there's victory. When there's fights like this, we don't want to be seen in a negative way. And they had some very dear friends, which are here, Mona and Yvette, who also helped me a lot through their advice. And thankfully so, I was able to win the case and get joint custody for my children.
So you have custody at that time?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you. There's a love of my life.
You saw that photo there, right?
Yes.
There, Joe. They're here. Part of the experience of oftentimes people want to use, like you said, that as a strategy or as an opportunity. And you didn't feel like that was the case at that time. What are your thoughts on the visibility that the trans community is having now, and sort of the role that your story could potentially play and has been?
I think it's a great movement. I feel that now we need even more exposure. More and more people need to come out. I personally came out because I felt, it's time. I know so many people in the political arena, business world, clients through my real estate business, and I'd have to say that so many of them are straight. And I said to myself, me coming out will tell them, hey, we're not different. I was always there, and they weren't aware of it. So that they would see that, hey, let us be just as equal as you are, because we're not any different. We're all, the same thing here, and we need our equal rights. So I think it's important that there's more visibility out there. I think that more people need to, political positions, there needs to be more trans people, gay people. I think it's very important for visibility at this time.
And recently, the Pride Action Game, has this initiative called the CRAP, and I'm not really making that up. That is really the name of it. It's called the Chicago Restroom Access Project. Chicago Restroom Access Project, CRAP, that's the acronym for it. And I'm sure there's a pun in there. But as part of that, it was really to change the language around the human rights ordinance that stated that people who had to use a restroom had to have their gender marker on their ID had to reflect the restroom that they were using. So that language had changed recently, so that was a victory. And you played a part in that you provided a testimony. Can you share a little bit about that experience?
Yes, I was at City Council, and we were there to get it passed so it can be introduced. And I was giving my story about how this isn't fair, and telling the folks that were in front of me, do you ever get questioned yourself for an ID? And then I came out and said, that I'm a father, I'm a brother, I have children, and then I came out and told them, I bet you guys didn't know that I was trans. And it was just silence, because many of them know me for 20 plus years and they had no idea. So I think that it was really crucial for that situation for me to come out publicly as I did. And then after that, Fox News wanted to come to my place of employment, and I said, why do you want to come to my job? He goes, oh, well, I want to show everybody that you're as normal as everybody else. which was quite interesting. So I did bring him to the office, and it was an interesting question he asked me. He said to me, "Joe, how many trans people are there?" And I said, "I don't know." He goes, "Take a guess." I said, "I have no idea. Why don't you tell me how many trans people there is?" And he said, he took this paper out, and he said, "Oh, statistics say that there's like 0.8%. I said, "Really?" I go, "Do you know that trans people don't scream out and say, 'Hey, count me in'? You have no idea how many people there is. I'm sure there's thousands and thousands you're not even aware of." But it was interesting that he asked me that, and the interesting thing is he didn't televise that part. And by the time we were done with the interview, I think I turned around his opinion. Because at first, I didn't feel that he was really in a positive format to his interview. But before he was done, he was laughing, he was hanging out with us actually. So I think it was a good thing.
Yeah, perfect. And then you also had the opportunity to be on IMK, right?
That's right.
You had some role. Can you share a little bit about that?
Okay, so the IMK show. I didn't know that some people see her in a negative way because honestly, I don't watch the show. I don't watch much of
No one
television.
here sees her in a negative way. Just so you know.
Okay, all right. All right. Yeah, I don't want to get attacked or something. So quite honestly, I thought she was a very pleasant woman. I spoke to her. We were getting televised, but we didn't know it was going to air. And she came out and said, "Hey Joe, I hear you're transgender," and we started talking. And I started giving her my story. She started giving me her story. She started telling me, "You know, Joe, when I wanted to come out, I found it very difficult." She said, "I spoke to my priest. It was hard for me to deal with this. And then I told my wife, and here I am today. And now I find it very difficult to tell my daughters that I want to start dating men." So I saw somebody that was very honest, emotional, and very sincere. And unfortunately, they didn't air that on television, but I saw a side of her that maybe some people think she doesn't have, because she is privileged, in many ways. But yeah, it was nice to meet her, and her staff is incredible. You can tell they all look out for her.
And then I'm going to ask you a couple of questions that people are asking. For people on this side, you probably can't see the number, but it's 78713 LGBT. And if you're on your phone, it's really hard to figure out what the LGBT is. So it's on the screen. It's 5428. And so I'm getting the questions here. So if you have a question, make sure you do it now because let's ask them. So, what was it like? And they don't have the name, so if you want your name included, or if you're single or something, and you want me to give you a shout out, and you want your stats or something.
I'm single.
So you mention it, and people can look around and guess who it is or something. Add that to the text, because all I see is a number. That's all I see. So it says, what was it like being on your own at 13? And do you have any animosity towards your parents today?
I do not whatsoever have any animosity towards them. I sincerely love my parents dearly. It's something that I did by choice. It taught me a lot of lessons of survival and belief in what you can do in life. My girlfriend was a year older. I felt very responsible for her, so I felt like a caretaker. I had to make sure we survived, that we ate food. The first couple of years we stayed in SRO, which is single room occupancies, which today they're making them illegal to build. But it was surviving, it was together. So I have no regrets. if I had to do it again, I'd probably do it the same way.
Good, because this is leading up to it. So, not to you doing it again, but to the next question, which is, what advice would you give your 13-year-old self for a person who identifies as trans at 13?
Is talk to people, reach out. If you don't know anyone that's gay, find out about organizations that can support you. I look back, 13 years old is very young. I mean, I would be in fear if I saw a 13-year-old do that today. But yeah, reach out, talk to me, talk to whoever, you can get close to and just share. Don't be afraid.
What tips and advice do you have for younger queers struggling right now in jobs and with family?
Well, again, I think they need to find help through a program. There's many of them. There's Center on Halsted, there's Rescate. There's folks like everyone that's here. Just reach out. I think that unity is very crucial, and I think that we all need to let people know that we're here to help them and support them, especially the children today. I'm glad that the schools are opening up for children, and they're feeling more comfortable, and they're creating gay clubs. So it's more acceptable today, and children are beautiful because they're not judgmental, and they accept all the changes that are happening.
Where do you see the LGBT community in 5 years, specifically the trans community?
Well, I'd like to see maybe a trans president one day, or you never know. You never know.
Someone's pointing out the photo of your mom on the screen. What brought you back together with your mom?
Well, my mom moved to Mexico, and unfortunately, my mother was getting abused while she was out there. And as a child, I worked very hard to make money, to have a home, so that I can bring her back to Chicago, where she would be safe and have a home to live in.
And given that things are not getting better, this is not me talking, this is the question. In fact, I think they are getting worse. What do you do for your own personal health care?
I don't understand the question. Healthcare as in me working out, or what are we referring to?
I think self-care, for your own personal self-care.
I don't understand the question, I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, do you agree with the statement that things are getting worse?
I don't think it is. I think that it's just coming to the surface now. And we're beginning to find out about people that are against the movement. And I think that things being open is a way of starting a discussion. So I think it's a good thing that these things are coming out, because now we can debate them, have discussions, have programs out there. And we're becoming more aware. These things always existed, but we didn't know. So it's better that we do know, because now we can start protecting ourselves, making a movement and getting stronger. Because eventually this won't be a problem anymore.
Are you able to share a little bit, or if you've had any conversations, or what conversations have you had with your children about your story? Or, yeah.
Yes. So my son, who is 8 years old, I wanted to tell him about the fact that I'm transgender, but my ex beat me to it and told him. And I think it was to be a little spiteful, but it actually worked the opposite way. When I went to pick him up, his name is Josh, I said, Josh, I heard that Mommy told you about Daddy. And, what exactly did she tell you? And she goes, oh, Daddy, she told me that you're a butch. I go, no. Daddy is not a butch. And then I started to explain to him that I'm transgender. And the interesting story is this. I had this magazine of Laverne Cox, who's transgender, and I'm sure you guys know who she is.
In orange is the new black.
Yes. And I had this magazine, and I was giving it to a friend of mine whose name is Phoenix. And I said to my son and daughter, I said, look, I'm going to get this magazine to Phoenix. I go, isn't she beautiful? They both said yes. And they said, Josh, you know, she's transgender. And he said, well, Daddy, what does that mean? I said, transgender means that she was born a boy, but she knew in her life that she wanted to be a girl. So eventually, she transformed herself to who she really always was, which was a woman. And he said to me, Dad, please don't give the magazine away. And I said, why? And he said, because it's so special. I want to keep it. So I had always instilled into my children what it is to be trans, what it is to be gay, the fact that families come in variety, black and white, you know, straight, men, women, women. It's just everything, and that's how I brought up my children. So when my son found out and explained what transgender was, he said, you know what, Daddy? I'm so happy that you wanted to be a boy. Because now we always hang out and we play. And I've always told him, Josh, if you have any questions, you can always ask me. And every once in a while I will say, Dad, you know, when you did that when you were little, were you a girl? And then I'll answer him. And then I told him, Josh, I want to tell Chloe. Chloe is 5 years old. And I said, can I tell Chloe? And he goes, no, Dad. I go, why? She's not ready. Just wait. So even the other day, we were speaking about two real dear friends. I don't know if you guys know them, Precious and Dave. Precious and Miles. And I was explaining some things to Chloe and about them being transgender. And she goes, oh yeah, Dad, I know what transgender is. So I looked at my son and I go, Josh, what do you think? He goes, not yet. I'm like, okay, we'll wait.
I love it. I have two more questions here. Can you tell me a little bit more about your experience as passing as cis in your work life?
As cis?
As cisgender, yeah.
Okay, my work life, I've always lived as a straight man. Nobody knew. Is that what you're referring to?
Yes.
Okay. So there's, I've always put like the gay flag sticker on my door. I've always been in the gay community, but it's almost like living two lives. I've had friends, and I've gay friends, lesbians, trans, and then I have my work environment where it's mainly all straight folks. So now that I'm able to mix everything up, it's been a tremendous result. I've had like 700 remarks on Facebook when I first came out from people that I didn't think was going to accept who I am. And it was totally the opposite. They were congratulating me, telling me that they're proud. Some of the guys saying, hey, you're still my brother. It's been so positive that it makes me feel like I should have did this a long time ago.
And the final question is, have you ever thought of running for president?
Oh my gosh, that's a lot of work. You never know, right?
Never know.
You never know.
Well, thank you so much, Joe.
Thank you. Appreciate it.